some of us talk about the green drink, and I actually officially started yesterday. Went to go buy some romaine lettuce, some baby spinach, and some spring mix, and I drunk it. And actually, that's the only thing I drunk. I waited till it was time for me to eat. Start practicing my 1 meal a day. What I'm telling y'all to do, I need to be a living example of that. I drank the green drink, and I really feel vitalized. Very, very. And I didn't know it was gonna give me that much energy. You can tell. It gave me a lot of energy. So I really appreciate that. I was ended up challenging my nephew in push-ups and squats. I had so much energy. But living food, is working. You actually can feel it in your body. So this green drink is cheap too. I didn't know it was gonna be that cheap. I bought it all organic, got it from Kroger's. I didn't know everything was gonna be cheap like that. And it's to me, it don't taste all that. It don't taste all that good, but I get used to the taste. But it made me feel good. And one thing I know growing up in the United States of America, we got taught to eat for taste. And that's the worst thing we can do. But since we have gotten taught to eat for taste, we have to make a transition slowly into learning to eat to live. So since I'm practicing how to eat to live, which I tell people before, I used to do this some years ago. I fell off the bandwagon about 6 years ago. I'm back on it. I'm back in my community, and I want to teach you all how I'm living. Because I believe I want for you all what I want for myself. I also believe that we are all family, all of us. Whether we know each other or not, we are all family. We are all one. And farther than that is everything in existence is connected. Everything in existence is one. So we one with nature. Everything. And we the first people under the sun. And by me saying that to every woman out here, to every female gender, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you all. Because you are the mother of civilization. Because the reason why, if you have no children, you're still the mother of civilization.
Yes, sir.
Because you are the first woman.
Yes, sir.
You're the original woman. So you're the mother of every other civilization. So I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you all also. Because I didn't get to say it, I didn't see you all. But I want to say some things because I'm learning, as I'm learning, this is a challenge for me. Because I study in other areas. But I have to study every week before I come up here and talk. The more I'm studying, the more I'm learning, I don't know anything. But what I am learning, a little bit that I do know, I do want to impart it with you all. And I want to say that I begin to see a lot of food that we have in it is not real at all. So a lot of information we receiving is not real. So we up here going to give you information from our heart that we, to the best of our ability, have experienced and we know that it works. And I want to tell you something about information. We got something that's called knowledge. Okay? And we also have something that's called trick knowledge. Alright? Now think about that. Now we're dealing with information. I'm not a Google man. I just started getting on Google not even a year ago. Okay? I read books. I read 1 book per month, 12 books a year. Alright, so I just started getting on Google, and I'm looking at Google and have plenty of information. Alright? But we have knowledge, which is the foundation of all things in existence. And then we have trick knowledge that takes from the foundation and builds something else for something else. Alright? Then we have what we call wisdom. Okay? Wisdom is the application of one's knowledge. Alright? And then we have, because wisdom, having a wise dome. And then we have what we call wisdom. Okay? You got to know the difference. We have knowledge, trick knowledge, a wise dome, and wisdom. And also we have something else. So let me go back to wisdom real quick. Having a wise dome is applying what you know. That's also being intelligent. If you know to do something, okay, and you do it, that's a sign of intelligence, but you are you are using wisdom. Okay, so if you had knowledge that this food is no good for you, all right, and you say, well, man, let's get late, I got to do something else, quick fix. You know, you're making an action, you're applying something, you're applying trick knowledge, which is wisdom. Okay, so we don't want to use that. We want to use the original, which is first, knowledge and wisdom. And after wisdom, when you begin to use wisdom, to apply your knowledge, you have what you call understanding. I talked about understanding last week, a supreme understanding, which is love. Now you have what you call understanding is to see things clearly. Because after you have experienced what you know, you begin to see it, you begin to understand it. But we have something else that's called misunderstanding. Okay, and misunderstanding stems from wisdom and also trick knowledge. All right, so we have been placed in a position, I know because we all have been under the thumb of Satan. So, and the Bible tells us that Satan would deceive the whole world. And if we in this world, we've been deceived. And I told you, I believe last week, that in order to change the nature of a thing, we must change its diet. All right? So, we've been tricked. We've been given knowledge, but it was trick knowledge. So, all we can do is apply is wisdom and a misunderstanding. So this brings forth our condition, minus 360 degrees. This brings our condition going backwards, counterclockwise, contrary, against the grain of the universe, how the earth rotates. This got us going the opposite way. So we're dying early. You know. So what I want to do for us is give us another way, because that's what diet also means. Diet actually means, it's a Greek word, it actually means a way of life. You know, so we want to take on another way of life. We have to change this. Too many of us, as myself, is overweight. That's unhealthy. When you overweight, what happens is it's easy for the body to set up dis-ease in the body. You know what I'm saying? So we got to clean that up. But I want to talk to you a little bit from this standpoint of, and I want to go over a couple of things we went over. I talked to you all before about loving yourself. We have to truly love ourselves. And in loving ourselves, we don't have to get a supreme understanding of who we are. We must do that. Because I know I get a lot of questions asked, and people asking about meat. So I talked to them about, I started researching about meat, so I gave them an ideal of a diet, which they now call flexitarian. Okay? A flexitarian, y'all remember me saying that last week? A flexitarian is one who eats the best of foods. They eat meat, but they eat the best of meat. Okay? But eating meat is not natural for us. But if we're going to eat meat, it's best for us to eat the best of it. Okay, the best of meat, you can find your kosher meats and your halal meats. Okay, which you get them from Jewish markets and Islamic markets. And you have some of these things in Kroger's also, they sell halal and kosher. That's us reading it. Okay, you have a better product. But I want to say a little something about meat. Okay? Meat, when we eat meat, no matter if it's chicken, no matter what it is, even if it's kosher or halal, it poisons the body. Okay? Whenever, I believe it's on page 2 I have, but let me see something, 1 second. On page 2, like the 3rd paragraph, I believe it says violence against animals. Y'all right there?
Yes, sir.
It says violence against animals is not the same as violence against people. Since human life is generally to be considered as a higher form of being, but it is a source of negative feelings and chemicals released by animals as they suffer on to death, which enters into the tissues of their bodies and then are consumed as food by humans. These impurities enter the bodies and minds of those who eat meat. Scientific studies have proven that the blood of people who die in accidents is normal, while people who die as a result of violent situations where fear and conflict is involved contains toxins released into the bloodstream just prior to death. Okay, so when the animal was being killed, murdered, okay, it come into a state of fear, right? Because it's not natural for the animal to be killed. He wasn't born to be killed, murdered. So it releases a chemical that's toxic, which is a natural occurrence out of defense. So he poisons his own blood as a defense mechanism. So no matter what the meat really is, all right, we eating poison. Okay, when we eat meat, what happens in our body, for one, it's even hard for us to digest the meat. But on the first page, we got a page with the showing, okay, talking about the liver. Okay, say toxic flash sources of amines. Okay, it says right here, the liver is the organ that gets overloaded in this process of eating meat. All right, the liver attempts to rid the body of this waste through the urea cycle, ridding the body of nitrogen. Urea is nitrogenous ammonium waste from animal flesh. In the urea cycle, ammonium waste is converted into urea to be removed from the body in uric acid by the way of the kidneys mainly. Drugs and medications are high in these substances. Accumulation of nitrogenous waste leads to liver failure and hepatic, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Somebody help me pronounce this word. Say it again. Encephalopathy. Say it again. Encephalopathy. I don't know what that means. All right.
Study of the head.
Okay. Study of the head. Okay. Well, this right here, eating meat. That was good. Okay. Then it goes on to say, this occurs when waste in the blood accumulate to high levels. This happens when waste in the blood accumulates to high levels. All right. These wastes are usually removed by the liver. Yet, when the liver is over impacted by animal flesh, protein and starches, these wastes accumulate. We feel this sometimes when we try to exercise after not having done so in a long time. The nausea felt and the release of these toxins into the bloodstream. If the body can rid of them by the way of urine and bowel movements, the body can heal. Okay, but what's happening when we eat meat, the reason why the liver is being overloaded, because it's hard for us to digest the meat, no matter what the meat is. So what they do, it dumps it off after the digestive process to the colon. Okay, and it sits in your colon and rots. And which causes, they call it fermentation. And the fermentation causes different diseases, liver disease, different cancers, and different things of that nature. So even though I was talking last week about being a flexitarian, in truth, I feel bad telling you to be a flexitarian. You know, because eating meat is terrible. But I'm going to say, if you are still going to do that, try to eat the best of meat until you can change over and try to be a vegetarian. But a vegetarian is not even the best way to go. I'm in a vegetarian state right now. That's not even the best way to go. Because of, well, I still eat dairy. Okay? And when I'm discovering about the dairy, because the brother talked about raw milk, okay? Very interesting in that. You don't get the order in to Friday. Right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I started studying on raw milk. And it's more beneficial for you. I've been reading since last week. All right? But what happens with dairy, the process that what happens with dairy, when they take it through the process, with all the pasteurization that they do, they poison the dairy. Okay? And I didn't even know that it set up different mucus cancers. It's a medical name for it. Now, I don't know the medical name, but it's a mucus cancer. Okay, but a lot of diseases is from overload of mucus. Y'all familiar with that? And so, that's what I'm saying, even a vegetarian, that's just still a state for me. But I still want to elevate from that state and go into vegan, and eventually, what I told y'all before, is a raw-tarian, eating raw fruits and vegetables, which is our nature. You herbivores by nature. Right? So, but if I want y'all to know, because I know some of us probably, I know it's a process for us to say, I'm just going to stop eating this way, because this food had became a drug.
Yes, sir.
All right? It's a drug. I know it's a drug.
Yes, sir.
I did good this week. You know, I took my daughter to the mall, and my daughter, she wants some cookies. You know, my daughter ended up getting some cookies. They got some stuff to eat, and the cookies smell good. I'm in the food court. I'm sitting down with them. I don't eat nothing. I get me a tea. I drink a tea, but I did good because I was tempted. You know, but I know I'm getting stronger. What's happening is I'm getting stronger.
Yes, sir.
Because the week before that, I told you I went into the donut place, Tim Hortons. It was a wrap. I got 12 of them. You know what I'm saying? So this time, I was proud of myself because I did good.
Yes, sir.
So this means from me abstaining from things, I'm getting stronger.
Yes, sir.
So maybe next week it won't even faze me because the smell of cookies was attractive. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it won't even faze me. But that sugar, this food period, is highly addictive on purpose. Okay, and that sugar, that white, especially the white sugar, is a killer. All right, and we got an alternative that they actually sell here. What I've been buying, which is raw sugar.
Yes, sir.
Buying the sugar raw. You know, it's better for you to buy the sugar raw. If we're gonna use sugar, let's buy the sugar raw. These just alternatives. Okay, because we like sugar. We raise up on sugar. Actually, it's a drug.
Yes, sir.
You know, so, and all this food, what they put in all of this food, these chemicals, all this processed food that we are eating, is a drug. Now I want to go to this list real quick, because a few people going to speak. It's a list of, I believe I got it in here. It's a list of foods that say detrimental foods. So I think it's 182, I believe 182. The middle page. And it say, it's the middle page for y'all? Okay. It says, name these products. Okay. So, do we eat most of these products? Yeah. I know, I would definitely eat most of these products. You know, it says all products with refined sugar. And that refined sugar is highly addictive. It not only leads to diabetes, heart disease, also leads to cancer. You know, they say, I listened to the doctor the other day, they were saying that we dying in the black community, we breaking down and preparing to die by the age 40, 50, and 60. He said it'd be lucky if we make 70. That's deep, that's a baby.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's deep. So it says all products with refined sugars. It says artificial sweeteners, flavorings, and colors. It says pastries. It says ice cream, cake, jello, candy, preserves, salted foods such as potato chips, or salted nuts. This is stuff we like, right? This is what we was raised up on. And they say this is detrimental to our health. It said sulfur dioxide and dried fruits, white flour, margarine, butter, hydrogenated oils, eggs, fried foods. I know I was raised on fried food, so I know we eat a lot of fried foods. You know, white rice. I know we ate a lot of white rice. I just switched over to wild rice. Eating wild rice. It's better for us to eat wild rice. Yeah, wild rice might be a little more expensive, okay, but it's better for you. And I want to say this to you. If you don't pay for your health, I'm talking about the price, if you don't pay for your health up front, you're going to pay for it on the back end. And it's going to cost you more, and it's going to be in a way that you don't want to pay for it. So it's best to pay for it up front. You know? So better foods do cost a little money, but the white rice is actually not even food. Okay? A lot of these things not even food. We've been tricked, like I said, you got knowledge, you got trick knowledge. All right, say any foods with preservatives. That's all our foods in our stores, in our neighborhood. I'm gonna start reading. You can't eat nothing. You know, because I just went to the grocery store, you know, the other day on Harper. I said, let me go ahead, I'm doing my 1 meal a day, so let me go ahead and give me some fruit, and give me some fresh fruit, real quick, some organic fruit, before I go in the house. It was approaching near 4 o'clock. I want to eat around 4 o'clock. And I went to the grocery store. I couldn't find no organic food, right here on Harper between Dickerson and Chalmers. I couldn't find no organic food. I said, I didn't think everything was going to be organic, but I think they have a little section with some organic food. I said, wow, I can't find none. So I asked the guy that was working in the store. I said, I'm looking for your organic fruit. He said, organic fruit? I said, yeah, organic fruit. He's like, you talking about canned fruit? I said, no, sir. I said, never mind. He said, oh, you talking about the stuff in aisle 4? I was like, no, never mind. So I went to one of the people that managed the store. One of Eric's that managed the store. I said, do you sell organic fruit? He said, no, we don't sell organic. She laughed at me, actually. Right. She laughed. Right. Right. I asked for organic fruit. Yeah. They said, no, we don't sell that. Yeah. And I don't blame them because it's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. If we're not demanding it, you know, they're not just going to have it sitting there. You know what I'm saying? We don't want it. Yeah. But what got me more than all that is, this black brother didn't know what organic was. That was deep. So I know that we have definitely been miseducated and been kept away from education. You know, all right. So, but we got to make a change in that. We got to start demanding this stuff in our community. You know, because it's easy for us to get there. You know, so I believe we should have a little option. All right. But we got cookies, coffee. I drink coffee. I gotta stop drinking that. Pasta, foods containing saturated fats and/or grease. Foods containing corn syrup or rice syrup, salads that are not fresh, cooked vegetables that are more than 1 day old. What y'all think about that? Cooked vegetables more than 1 day old.
They're older than that when they come to the store.
Cooking all that.
Unless you grow them yourself.
Yes, man. Processed foods, all kinds. I forgot, I missed one. All meats. Say all meats. Now what about fish? Well, I see a lot of people say, yeah, I can eat that fish. Say all meats is detrimental. Which they actually are. You know, it might not be as hard on your digestive system as chicken. And chicken may not be hard as your digestive system as lamb, and lamb may not be hard as beef. You know, but it's still hard on your digestive system. And the fatty acids from fish is not the fatty acids that need to be put in our body. Because there are different toxins. I already said when you're killing these things, you're letting out poison in the blood. You know. So we don't have that right to murder no living thing. We didn't create anyway. Alright? Now, so I want y'all to take that home and look at them foods that are detrimental and start reevaluating our diet. Alright? But I want to say this before I let somebody speak. I want to talk about the diet of the mind real quick. And I mentioned before, I want to ask this question before I even say this. Is anybody here atheist?
Is anybody what?
Atheist. Got no atheists in here? Wow, that's deep. Okay. Well, It's easy for me to say this then. One of the things that we have to put in our diet is prayer. Okay? Prayer is a replenisher. You replenish your mind. Okay? It's healthy for you. It's healthy for your mind. It connects you back to your true self. You can get alone and spend that time and pray.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It's good for you. So we need to get that time, set some time aside. All right? We all believe we have a creator. All right? And we need to give back or connect back with our creator every day. This needs to be part of our diet. We need to set time, not praying with all distractions going on. You can do that too. You can say a prayer with a lot of distractions going on. But I'm talking about setting aside, getting in privacy, concentrating, and connecting with your higher self, with your creator. All right?
Yes, sir.
The essence of you.
Yes, sir.
All right? And you feel replenished. You
Yes,
feel
sir.
good. It actually gives you a high. Releases dopamine in the body. You know? So, also, we need to practice meditation. We so far away from meditation, and we are the true meditators. You know, we've been doing this in ancient Africa for years. All right, so we need to get back into stilling our minds. Our minds is everywhere. You know, all right.
Yes, sir.
If we can't control our mind, someone else is controlling our mind. So we need to add this to our way of life, our diet. Is to be able to sit on ourselves and spend some time with ourselves and learn and investigate how to meditate. I'm a meditator, but this is not my class on meditation. I'm not teaching on meditation, but it is a part of my diet. Okay, to seek information and keep researching the information that you seek, and learn how to quiet and still your mind. Because the nature that we was made in is peace, and our mind should be at peace, or we can be at peace. And I want to say this one more thing is that the reason why I brought up the prayer and the meditation, and also I want to bring up fasting.
Yes, sir.
And I was listening to this doctor. He was talking about fasting, and not only fasting. He said fast. I know where this information comes from. He said you should fast once a month for 3 days. All right. This also says this in a How to Give Birth to a God. I mean,
Yes,
no,
sir.
no,
Yes, sir.
How to Eat to Live book. Excuse me. How to Eat to Live. It's in a book by Elijah Muhammad. I was just listening to this doctor on YouTube. He was saying that we should fast once a month, every month, for 72 hours. He said that gives our bodies a chance to clean and our stomachs a chance to rest. Our stomachs need rest and our blood needs to be clean. All right, now on the spiritual aspect of that is when we fasting, we able to hear better, our minds clear, we're more pleasant. You follow what I'm saying? It's better for us spiritually as a people. We're way more peaceful when we fast. All right? It's better for us, healthy for us overall. It's actually healthy for who we are. Because we are the first people of the sun. We are the children of the Most High. So I want to implement that in our diet because we always, in any culture you go in, dealing with Africa, we always was connecting to our deity in everything we've done. It's a way of life for us in everything. So I definitely want us to, while we're being conscious of what we eat, we need to start back praying, we need to start back fasting, and we need to start, I don't know, meditate. I don't know if you all used to meditate, but I don't see meditation in a black community, period. And then when they go try to meditate, they try to learn from the Westerners and the Western way of meditation. And that's not the way we meditate. Okay, they got a different, they're different kind of people. Okay, so we have to meditate according to our spiritual self, all right, and our abilities, and our brain power. Okay, so with that being said, I want Liz to come up here. I want Liz to come up here first. And she's going to talk about 5 minutes, dealing with some things that's going on in our community that we don't know. Certain devices and things that we don't have no idea of. So I want y'all to listen to her. I appreciate y'all, and I love y'all. Peace.
Love you, big.
Excuse me. My face is probably a little flushed. I'm really sensitive. I have allergies. I had radiation in 2010 and again in 2014 and for cancer. And since then, everything, I'm allergic to it. Human touch, water, whatever, it breaks me out. But I'll be all right in a few minutes. But I wanted to talk about, I've been a nurse. I'm going to give you a little history. I've been a nurse for 17 years. I worked in long-term care probably 12 of the 17 years. I used to be a nurse and high-risk floor at Hustle Hospital, the old Hustle. I've done ER. Didn't like it. Too many of us were coming. Dots were children, and it's nothing I wanted to do. But I've always been a person to always work out. I didn't drink probably until maybe 32, had my first drink. I wasn't one of those people that followed the crowd. I grew up Jehovah's Witness, so my parents were, my grandparents raised me very, very strict. So when I developed cancer, I had cancer in my throat. It was in my thyroid, which had eventually spread to my other tissues. I had to have radiation. It made me start to think about my lifestyle. So, like I said, I've been a nurse for a long time, so I'm exposed to different diseases. I'm exposed to different people's lifestyles, their habits, the breakdown of the body, all different kinds of things. So, things that I knew to stay away from, I stayed away from. So I was curious, it's like, how did this happen? Diet, probably. I was always a meat eater. I ate so much red meat, I would eat just meat. Lots of potatoes, lots of starch. Surprised I didn't have diabetes because I would eat junk all day, all night. But I wanted to just talk to you guys about, there's 7 deadly diseases that affect African Americans, more so than any other race. First is diabetes. Diabetes is number 1. Cancer, you would think we have a lot of cancers in our community, but diabetes affects 60% of African Americans. Basically, genetics has something to do with it because if your parents or grandparents were diabetic, you're predisposed to developing diabetes later. But basically, it's lifestyle. We eat all the wrong things. We drink the white, we eat the white sugar, the fruit drinks, the sodas, lots of potato chips, lots of starches. We've been doing this since we were younger. And it says that we're 60%, it's more common in blacks than whites. Blacks are 2.5 times more likely to suffer limb amputations as a result of the diabetes than the white race. Well, I should just say other races. And 5 times more likely to suffer kidney disease than other people. So if you think about it, we're already, because of genetics and because of socioeconomics, basically because we were deprived, our ancestors were deprived of healthy living. We were given the things that were not healthy as part of our diets and our lifestyles. We were introduced to the chitlins and the pork chops and everything that they didn't want to eat was given to us. And as growing up, our grandparents, they fed it to us, they fed it to our parents, and so, it was just a cycle. So, genetics predisposed us to a lot of high blood pressures, diabetes. With hypertension, we suffer strokes. And it says asthma. Asthma is the second on the list that African Americans are 3 times more likely to die from. We are exposed to secondhand smoke more times than we know. It's supposed to be banned in all public places, but you can walk into a store and everybody in the store is smoking. people behind the register are not affected because they're away from it. But when you walk into that room, you're exposing yourself. You've inhaled cancer-causing agents. You've inhaled that secondhand smoke. I see the commercial now on TV about our cats are 2 times more likely to develop cancer, a cat, from their owners smoking in the house. So, if the feline, who's way, way down, so far away from the smoke, we're standing next to each other, we're in the car with our children, and we're smoking. So we're increasing our risk. Lung cancers, sarcoidosis. Black people never had sarcoidosis development as they do now. Bernie Mac was well known, highly publicized, died from sarcoidosis. Another was Reggie White, he was an NFL player, sarcoidosis. But it is a disease that causes scarring in the lungs. It's from long time smoking, mainly cigars. We see our children smoking, not even cigarettes, not filtered. There used to be a lot of unfiltered cigarette smoking, the Pall Malls and all those things when we were younger. But they started to add filters because they said that it decreased the risk for developing lung cancers and all kinds of things, asthmas and things like that, but it doesn't. But cigars increase their risk because both of them were cigar smokers. There's no filter in a cigar. You're smoking directly, you know.
How old was both of them when they died?
I think Bernie Mac was about 56 maybe, and Reggie White, it says he was 43.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think Bernie Mac is 50 something. I'm not exact, but I think around 56. But Reggie White was 43. And socioeconomics had nothing to do with them because they were okay. But it was their habits, lifestyles, things that we don't even think about. We do it, most people do it because it's a trend. Most people do it out of peer pressures. Most people do it out of, most things that we do that are not good for us, we do because we're stressed in some level. He spoke on meditation. I was reading that meditation, if you meditate 15 minutes, it decreases your stress level, which opens your blood vessels, which allows circulation to regulate. It improves circulation from your peripheral areas, your legs, arms, back to your heart. Also, oxygenation. We need oxygen to help our red blood cells develop. When you meditate, you allow relaxation and you allow the oxygen exchange and development of the red blood cells. So it's good to meditate. It's good to relieve stress. 15 minutes. It only takes 15 minutes to show some, to affect the body. I'm going to be quick, but strokes kill 4 times more African Americans 35 to 54 years old than other races. And I wanted to touch on strokes. A lot of black people have strokes. The first 21 days are very, very critical. Whatever functioning after a stroke that you're going to get back from a stroke, it happens in the first 21 days. Hospitals and doctors are not going to tell you, if you know anybody or whatever, your risk of functioning normal again, depending on where the stroke affected in the brain. If you get extensive rehab, don't let them take, you know, most times they send you to long-term care facilities with very short rehab programs because it's less expensive, but you need very extensive rehab. You need to go to a strict rehab center. I mean, I know probably everybody in this room knows somebody that has had a stroke. Strokes are very common now. You see the facial droop. You may not even know that a person has had a stroke. There may be a limp, a slurred speech. The hands don't move as they were before. They may hold their hand. The head is held a different way. A lot of people have mini strokes. I have experienced as young as 12 years old having mini strokes. Seizures are more common now because people abuse their body with alcohol. Alcoholism, most times now, because alcohol, the way they make alcohol is more, I don't know I just know the medical way. I'm just gonna say, most times you don't know you're drunk until after you stand up. If you sit and drink, you don't really know, you don't feel the effect of alcohol until you start to move. And that's done on purpose because you can consume more. But at that same time, you increase your risk for alcohol poisoning like 5 times because you don't know that you've consumed because you're not feeling that high. Most people, if you look around, if you see older movies, people stood up and they drank. They didn't drink, they didn't sit around the bars until like the Cheers days or whatever. Most people stood and drank. They socialized, they walked around because you feel the effects of alcohol quicker if you move around. If you sit, you don't know. The moment you stand up, then you can feel it. So seizures are more common in African Americans because of high alcohol intake. Another thing, I talked about high blood pressure and cancer. Cholesterol, because we eat lots of saturated fats, margarines, we don't cook in the olive oils and the other oils that we should, so we use the Crisco's and that says vegetable oil or whatever on the shelves, which are not healthy. So we're increasing our risk for strokes and heart attacks due to the intake of these products. Okay. One other thing, and I'm gonna go, is the cell phones. I talked about last week how I had heard, and we were doing some studies at work on